Hey guys, Ultimate Toy Collector here. Today we're going to take a look at Hasbro's new Marvel Legends Avengers Endgame Wave 2 with the, I guess for lack of a better word, is the Smart Hulk Build-A-Figure. It says Build-A-Figure Hulk, but we know that he's kind of the Smart Hulk in this movie. This is a cool wave. We were all kind of expecting that we would see some of these characters, and as we've seen in previous waves, we have a good mix. We have 3 of the movie characters, and we have 4 of the comic characters. Technically, I guess you could say Loki would, could be both, but this is his comic version. So you see here we have War Machine. We have Loki, we have Rescue, which I was really excited to see. We have Union Jack, Shuri, who I was also excited to see, Rock Python for our Serpent Society, and I don't really know a whole lot about them. There's like plenty of characters, and I know we've actually worked on building a lot of the Serpent Society, so this is another one. And then we have Better Ray Bill, who is a really dope figure. So we're going to open these up. We're going to take a look at them. Before we do that, we will take a look at the packages, but also I just want to thank Hasbro for sending these to me so that we could take a look at them. And I appreciate it. Hasbro, thanks for sending these out for review. And you guys know I'm a huge Legends fan. So let's take a look here. We have our War Machine. We've already seen the images on the side of the boxes, and then obviously on the back, these are our regular window style packaging that our Legends come in. Loki. Rescue. And I really do wish that they would have given her a alternate head, an unmasked head, I guess you could say. But if you got that 3-pack, I think it's a 3-pack, you should be able to pop that head on there. Union Jack. Shuri, even though I do wish she would have came in the Black Panther wave, I am glad that we finally got her. Rock Python. And last but not least, Better Ray Bill. Alright, so we're going to open these up and we're going to take a look. So here's our figures out of the package. First, let's take a look. So you see you need, out of this wave, you'll need 6 of the 7 figures to actually build your Build-A-Figure, your Smart Hulk. And the 7th figure is Warpath. He comes double packaged in a case, and he does not come with a Build-A-Figure piece. On the other hand, you have Rescue that comes with the torso. You have Shuri that comes with one of his legs. You have Rock Python that comes with one of his arms. Union Jack comes with one of his arms. Better Ray Bill comes with both of his heads. You see there's kind of like a grinning head that I have on him right now. And then there's this other head right here. Just a little plain stoic face. So I prefer to keep the other head on him right now. And then Loki comes with his other leg. So here's all the figures out of the package, Hulk is bigger than the rest. Pretty solid figure. I do wish that it was the Professor Hulk, but nonetheless, it is still a pretty good Hulk, and I do like the face on the face sculpt on these. So let's take a look at the figures real quick. First, here in the front, we have Shuri. Shuri comes with her gauntlets. If you look closely, they resemble panthers. And she could shoot her little energy charge. She did have these in the movies. Now, I was really excited to be getting a Shuri figure. I was really looking forward to grabbing her. And then I opened it. Then I opened the figure, and I'm not as impressed as I was hoping I was going to be. First off, the arms are actually here. So you got some plastic peeling off. The arms are very, very thin. Incredibly thin, like pencil thin. And, you know, the female figures don't always have the most muscular bodies. But I do feel like Shuri's arms are just incredibly small, and I do realize that she's smaller in stature, so, you know, maybe that's what they're trying to go with. The face scan, the facial recognition. Let's take a look. I think they did a pretty good job on the facial recognition. Now, they do use the new scans, so the MCU characters are pretty much on point. So if you look at Shuri, you look at Hulk, they look very much like the actors. Not similar, but pretty much like, and by saying not similar, I mean, if you look at some of the first waves from Avengers and Winter Soldier, the face scans were not as close as these. These look very much more on point. The costume, so the coloring on her costume is a tad off, but it's not bad. She does have this on her waist. I'm trying to see if I could take that off. Can't really take that off without actually ripping it, so I'm going to leave that on. All right, overall articulation. One thing that I noticed, and I will point this out, so both of our female figures have very limited neck articulation. She cannot bend her neck down. She could bend it up to the side, but she cannot bend it down. Low range of motion here, side to side. There is no, let me see, there's no waist swivel, just the upper, like, ab crunch there. No ab crunch, but right here under the boob. All right, so the legs, the other thing was the legs seemed very off. I'll show you guys. So the way the double jointed knee sits on the character, it almost, here, I'll just let you guys look at that. So I'm not sure if something's wrong with my character, my figure, but if I put it all the way like that, that's the way it sits. Or if I kind of give it a slight bend, then it sits like that. So not overly impressed with the legs. Does have good range articulation, has an upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, and some rotation in the ankles. But kind of had to play with her to get her to stand exactly the way I needed her. Not overly impressed with the figure. I really do wish I was, because I really did want a Shuri, and it does look like a dope figure. But in hand, I was not overly impressed with her. So we'll put her back here. Next up, let's do the female figures. We're going to do Rescue. So Rescue is our next character that we're going to take a look at. Rescue, the only 2 complaints I have, maybe 3. So I do like the paint app on the figure. The paint app is pretty smooth all over for the most part. I like the color scheme, very good on that. Now she does have a secondary backpack, so you can pop this one off. And to make her fly. Now, I wish there was one that opened and closed, but unfortunately there's not, so you either have to have it open like this, or you can put the other one on. I prefer the other one. And put that there. Alright, so for an armored figure, she's pretty cool. Another complaint that I do have, just like Shuri, she cannot put her head down. There's no looking down at all on this figure. She can look up. Now, originally I thought maybe she could look up because she could fly, and having her in a flying pose, but I don't know. So, head articulation is not the best. Now, if you look at the arms, so she has little hands. That's the other thing I want to say. Shuri had very, very tiny hands, extremely tiny. So here, her armor kind of comes right over the wrist. So you kind of have a little trouble just moving her hand. I know on some of the Iron Man figures, it's similar, but I also know that some of them you are able to move the arms and, you know, put the plasma blasters and all that stuff. With her, she doesn't have that, so it's just a little hindrance in the hand. And then my other complaint would be we don't have a Pepper Pot's head to swap out with it. That would be my only complaint. Besides that, articulation overall on the figure for an armored figure is pretty good. Here in the crotch area, now I guess because of the armor, she does have, as you know, they refer to like the NECA figures that diaper. But I mean, it makes the armor look good. You can move the figure. It doesn't take away much from the figure. And she's got, you know, double jointed knees. She's got rotation in the ankles. She has a lot of articulation. So overall, I do like the figure. Minor things that I would fix on it, but it's not a horrible figure. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these out of the way since we took a look at them. All right. Next up, let's take a look at Union Jack. Union Jack, as far as all these figures go, I think body-wise would be the smoothest. His little belt here, his little utility belt, you can stick his knife in there, you can stick the gun in there, and this does clamp down. You got to play with it a little bit. Articulation wise, full range of motion on the head, arms, double bicep, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, wrist articulation, ab crunch, a little swivel there, waist swivel. It's got articulation in the legs. It's got thigh cut, double jointed knees. It's got a boot cut here, and good range of motion in the ankles. So overall, he's got your standard articulation and full range of motion. I do like the figure, fully articulated. Would he have been my first choice in the Avengers wave? Probably not. But then again, I don't know enough about the character to really say whether he should or shouldn't be. But he is a cool character, and I do have the original one that they made now, probably going on over, I'd say, probably 15 years ago, longer than that. So this is a nice update to that character. Next, let's take a look at Rock Python. Rock Python is the figure that you never knew you actually needed or wanted. He's just a very plain figure. He's another addition to the Serpent Society. Somebody there at Hasbro definitely likes the Serpent Society and wants to complete them because we have a lot of them. My complaint with this figure is that certain parts of his plastic are a little flimsy. You see here it's a different plastic, it's shiny, and then on the arms is a more rubbery type of plastic, especially around the wrist on it too. But he has good range of motion, fully articulated, bicep swivels, double jointed elbows, right? Ab crunch. Same thing down the legs, the thigh cut, double jointed knees, boot cut, and the ankles. So I mean, overall, he does have excellent range of motion. Just as far as the character goes, he probably wouldn't be my first choice, but he's pretty cool, and I like the colors. The colors are very vibrant on him. We'll do Loki. Ooh. Let's do Loki next. So Loki comes with his sword and very bright colored outfit. It's got a little devilish grin there. You see his ponytail in the back. His ponytail can bend a little bit. This piece can come off if you want. Just got to pop the head off. The body's very plain, so pretty much the same articulation as Union Jack and Rock Python. Let's just take a look to see how much bigger he is. So if I had to say, he's about the same size as him. Good detail on the paint apps, especially on the detailing going down the suit. Very smooth, no bleeding through in the green and the yellow. And he has good range of motion. Plastic's pretty good on it for the most part. Articulation's good. Same as the other two figures that we saw. And as far as the face sculpt, very smooth face sculpt. So that would be Loki. Next, let's take a look at Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill's hammer, pretty heavy as far as him holding it up. He is able to hold it, so that's good. Sturdy figure. Sturdy body, very muscular body. Good head sculpt on him. You can get a little articulation in the jaw there. Open and close it. Now his cape can come off, or you can leave it on. I prefer to leave it on so I don't mix up my thousands of capes. There we go. As far as coloring, good coloring on them. Paint apps very smooth, no bleeding through. Even on the armor there. Texturized chest plate. There's no bleeding through on it, so good job. Good range of motion, articulation. You can get him into those flying poses to battle Thor. And now the cape is molded plastic. It is not a soft goods cape, which for him in this case I do like the molded, although I do also prefer these soft goods for some figures. Bicep swivel. You have your bicep cut in there, your shoulder, I should say, shoulder, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, good articulation in the wrist, good articulation in the head. Now, again, there, he's actually able to look down, so we're good. No ab crunch, but because of the armor, he's got articulation here right under the breastplate, and he does have a waist swivel. So no ab crunch, but he has the waist swivel there. Good articulation in the legs, double jointed knees, boot cut, thigh swivel, and ankles. So overall, bigger character, bigger buck, I should say, but he is good. And also with the molded cape there, we're able to stand him up a little more solidly. So last up, before we get to our Build-A-Figure, it's War Machine. This War Machine is very solid, very thick, and I do like it. I like him a lot. His guns can come off. I've attached them to the armor here, both under the wrist, and then this on his shoulder plate, his shoulder mount, I should say, go up there. So this is War Machine. You know, War Machine's armor is always bigger and bulkier than Iron Man. As far as the posing, he is a little more, kind of have to put a little muscle into moving him. But I do like the poses that you're able to get with him. A little more dynamic, like striking poses. Now, as far as there's no ab crunch, you do have articulation here under the breastplate. There's no waist swivel, and overall, you know, he's bulkier armor than the other figures, than Iron Man. So he does have the double jointed knees. Try not to snap. There we go. And can move the ankles just a little bit. Overall, it's not the best articulation, I guess you could say. Here in the elbows, single joint seams. Not the best articulation, but the poses that you can get with the armor are pretty dope. So in that sense, I do forgive him for the lack of articulation, and it's just a very, very cool, very solid looking War Machine. So the little bit of lack of articulation is understandable, especially considering the suit and the restrictions of the suit. And so here, last but not least, moving forward, we have our Smart Hulk. Now, Hulk is still Hulk in this movie, obviously, but his he's the MCU's version of Smart Hulk, and he's bigger, strong. They did choose to keep him more in the savage type of, you know, no shirt, ripped pants type of thing, but the face here, good face sculpting there. They did a little texturizing on the chest, so he's got some hair, or what would look like hair. Overall, very solid figure, very good articulation. No actual ab crunch, but you do have good range of motion there. And the figure is bigger than some of your other characters, but not overwhelmingly. And as far as the Hulk, I would say this is probably one of my favorite MCU Hulks. They did a great job on him. So here you go, guys. This is the Marvel Legends Avengers Endgame Wave 2 with the Build-A-Figure Hulk, Smart Hulk. Overall, I do like the figures. I do like the wave. There's figures in there that I definitely like. Shuri, War Machine, Union Jack, Hulk, Rescue, Better Ray Bill. For the most part, I like all the characters in the wave. There's minor issues that I do have with them, like Shuri. Overall, nice looking figure until you actually get down to the meat of things, and then it's not overly impressive figure, but nonetheless I do like them, and I like the build figure. So therefore, I would have picked these up regardless. But thank you, Hasbro, for sending these out to me. Definitely perfect for my collection, my Legends collection. And you guys check me out on Facebook, check me out on YouTube, check me out on Cool Dad Pop Culture Reviews, Toy News International. Check out our San Diego Comic-Con coverage. Like the video, share the video, leave me a comment, let me know what you want to see in upcoming videos, and until next time, guys, happy hunting.